If I'm elected president, you will not hear me race baiting, you'll not hear me dividing, you'll hear me trying to unify.
They've done a great job. We had the strongest economy in the world. We closed it up. We are coming around the corner. The vaccines are coming out soon.
Both candidates appearing in critical battleground states. Vice President Biden at an ABC News town hall in Pennsylvania.
This president embraces all the thugs in the world. I mean, he's best friends with the leader of North Korea, sending love letters. He doesn't take on Putin in any way.
President Trump in Florida at an NBC News town hall.
We are running the remnants of whatever is left much better than the previous administration, which ran it very badly.
Biden currently leads Trump nationally in the latest ABC News Washington Post poll by 12 points, 54-42.
The president was informed how dangerous this virus was. It is a presidential responsibility to lead, and he didn't do that. He didn't talk about what needed to be done because he kept worrying, in my view, about the stock market.
The COVID-19 crisis front and center.
So my question for you is, if a vaccine were approved between now and the end of the year, would you take it? And if you were to become president, would you mandate that everyone has to take it?
Two things. Number one, President Trump talks about things that just aren't accurate about everything from vaccines. We're going to have one right away. It's going to happen and so on. The point is that if the body of scientists say that this is what is ready to be done and it's been tested, it's gone through the 3 phases, yes, I would take it. I'd encourage people to take it.
Biden was pressed on whether he'd mandate vaccines when they're available.
It depends on the state of the nature of the vaccine, when it comes out, and how it's being distributed. That would depend on. But I would think that we should be talking about, depending on the continuation of the spread of the virus, we should be thinking about making it mandatory.
Since the last time the two shared a stage,
Why would you answer that
because
question?
the question is,
in the first presidential debate, the president tested positive for COVID, recovering quickly thanks to experimental treatments, and has finally embraced being back on the campaign trail with densely packed, mostly maskless rallies.
I feel so powerful. I'll walk into that audience. I'll walk in there. I'll kiss everyone in that audience. I'll kiss the guys and the beautiful women and everybody. I'll just give you a big fat kiss.
Tonight, the president light on details about his COVID battle.
Did the doctors ever tell you that they saw pneumonia on your lung scans?
No, but they said the lungs are, a little bit different, a little bit perhaps infected. And
infected with?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't do too much asking.
When challenged about the largely maskless event in the Rose Garden, the president again cast doubt on the effectiveness of masks in preventing infection.
As far as the mask is concerned, I'm good with masks. I'm okay with masks. I tell people wear masks. But just the other day, they came out with a statement that 85% of the people that wear masks catch it. So,
they
this
didn't
is
say
a
that.
very
I know
tricky,
that study.
That's what I heard.
Biden and his campaign have followed strict COVID-19 protocols.
how many of you have been unable to hug your grandkids?
And with the pandemic weighing down on the economy, the candidates took aim at each other's tax plans.
Companies are pouring into our nation because of the tax rate. And if Biden comes in and raises taxes on everybody, including middle income taxes, which he wants to do, you will blow this thing and you'll end up with a depression, the likes of which you've never had. That's what's going to happen.
You stated that anyone making less than $400,000 will not see one single penny of their taxes raised.
That's right.
But also state that you are going to eliminate the Trump tax cuts. What is your plan for either extending the tax cuts for the middle class or creating a new plan that further reduces those taxes?
I carry this card with me. When I said the Trump tax cuts, about $1.3 trillion of the $2 trillion in his tax cuts went to the top 1/10 of 1%. That's what I'm talking about eliminating, not all the tax cuts that are out there.
After months of calls for racial equity, Biden weighing in on what he will do for Black Americans.
Besides You Ain't Black, what do you have to say to young Black voters who see voting for you as further participation in a system that continually fails to protect them?
Well, I say, first of all, as my buddy John Lewis said, it's a sacred opportunity and right to vote. You can make a difference. If young Black women and men vote, you can determine the outcome of this election. Not a joke. You can do that. And the next question is, am I worthy of your vote? Can I earn your vote? And the answer is, there's two things I think that I care, and I've demonstrated I care about my whole career. One is, in addition to dealing with a criminal justice system to make it fair and make it more decent, we have to be able to put black Americans in a position to be able to gain wealth, generate wealth.
At the last debate, the president was criticized for refusing to condemn white supremacists and militia groups.
Who would you like me to condemn?
White supremacists and right
Proud Boys, stand back and stand by.
Tonight, he was pressed again.
It's a little bit of a dodge.
Are you listening? I denounce white supremacy.
Okay.
What's your next question?
Do you feel, it feels sometimes you're hesitant to do so, like you wait a beat.
Here we go again. Every time, in fact, my people came, I'm sure they'll ask you the white supremacy question. I denounce white supremacy.
Okay.
And yet dodging when asked to disavow the conspiracy group QAnon.
I know nothing about QAnon.
I just told you.
I know very little. You told me, but what you tell me doesn't necessarily make it fact. I hate to say that. I know nothing about it. I do know they are very much against pedophilia. They fight it very hard, but I know nothing about it.
They believe it is
If
a
you'd like me
satanic cult
to
run by the deep
study
state.
the subject, I'll tell you what I do know about. I know about Antifa, and I know about the radical left, and I know how violent they are and how vicious they are, and I know how they're burning down cities run by Democrats.
And with all eyes this week on the Supreme Court confirmation hearing of Judge Amy Coney Barrett, the former vice president pushed once again on whether he'd expand the number of justices.
I have not been a fan of court packing because I think it just generates what will happen. Whoever wins, it just keeps moving in a way that is inconsistent with what is going to be manageable.
So you're still not a fan?
Well, I'm not a fan. I then say it depends on how this turns out. Not how he wins, but how it's handled. How it's handled.
If they vote out before the election, you are open to expanding the court?
I'm open to considering what happens from that point on.
You know, you said so many times during the campaign, all through the course of your career, it's important to level with the American
but George,
people.
if I say, no matter what answer I gave you, if I say it, that's the headline tomorrow. It won't be about what's going on now, the improper way they're proceeding.
But don't voters have a right to know where you stand?
They do have a right to know where they stand, and they'll have a right to know where I stand before they vote.
So you'll come out with a clear position before Election Day?
Yes, depending on how they handle this.
Meanwhile, the president punting.
But would you like to see Roe versus Wade overturned?
I would like to see a brilliant jurist, a brilliant person who has done this in great depth and has actually skirted this issue for a long time, make a decision. And that's why I chose her. I think that she's going to make a great decision. I did not tell her what decision to make, and I think it would be inappropriate to say right now because I don't want to do anything to influence her. I want her to get approved, and then I want her to go by the law.
Biden was forceful about what he saw were perceived conflicts of interest with Trump and his Justice Department.
What the Biden Justice Department will do is let the Department of Justice be the Department of Justice. Let them make the judgments of who should be prosecuted. They are not my lawyers. They're not my personal lawyers. So you remember any Republican president going out there or former Democratic president, go find that guy and prosecute him. You ever hear that? Or, by the way, I'm being sued because a woman's accusing me of rape. Represent me. Represent me. Personally represent me in the state of New York on my not allowing my tax returns. What's that all about?
When Biden's TV time was over, he stayed on, continuing to answer every question that came his way from the audience members. While nearly 18 million people have already cast their votes, one question remains. Was anybody's mind changed after listening tonight?
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.